blood flow to the genitals. That's what we're talking about today. How to make all our juicy bits and parts work better. I'm Dr. Diane, your Libido Doc. The first thing I want to say about this is this video applies to men and women both. While men get a lot of press around erectile dysfunction, and it has been shown that about 100% of men will experience erectile dysfunction at some point in their life, leading this to be a problem that everybody needs to hear about. The thing that's not talked about is the importance of blood flow to women. So this video applies to both men and women, because when we get blood flowing to the female genitalia, that helps with lubrication, that helps reduce pain, that helps prevent atrophy, where the tissues actually start shrinking and breaking down. So both men and women need this proper blood flow to their genitalia in order to experience pleasure, in order to enjoy sex. So this video applies to all. So of course, most people know about things like Viagra and our pills that can help with some of these situations, but what's going on long term? I have another video on my channel where I talk about changes from a standpoint of what's going on in our genitalia might actually be early warning signs of a cardiovascular disease, because when blood flow is not working down there, it's not working probably anywhere. So we want to make sure that we're really considering our vascular health in general in order to have good sex, in order to have good penile function and good vaginal function, and also to have good health in general. So what can we do? So some basic things. So mineral support for some people can actually really help. So mineral support like potassium, magnesium can help with that relaxing of those blood vessels and allow for more blood flow to flow correctly. While you don't want too high of a salt diet and too high sodium, too low sodium can actually have negative impacts on your blood vessels as well. So you want to make sure you are eating some salt, not too much salt. So that's important. Now, one of the key regulators in our body for blood flow is something called nitric oxide. So you'll read a lot online about arginine, because arginine is a precursor to nitric oxide. The problem with taking arginine as a supplement is it's not very well absorbed. So you can take a significant amount orally, but you might not have much of it translate into nitric oxide. So that because of that, you might not have that impact on your blood vessels. So what is the solution? Citrulline is another amino acid, it's another protein, and it's a precursor to arginine. So when we take citrulline orally, we do absorb citrulline, and citrulline converts to arginine, which then converts to nitric oxide. So even though it's one further step back before that blood vessel dilation, it oftentimes is a better thing to supplement with citrulline because we absorb it so much better, and therefore it can have better results. And of course, we want to consider diet and stress. Stress is a real great way of constricting those blood vessels, especially if long-term stress. If we have long-term stress, what tends to happen in long-term stress is we tend to stop running on our day-to-day stress hormone cortisol, and we tend to start moving and running on more adrenaline. When we get into that situation, typically we feel things like wired but tired. But regardless, with that adrenaline pumping, we get that constriction of our blood vessels. We don't get that flow to our genitals, and when that happens, well, everything goes downhill when it comes to the bedroom from there. And also remember, listen to my other videos on performance anxiety, because the biggest thing is knowing that wherever you're at with this, if you're experiencing some sort of blood flow dysfunction, this is normal. This happens to almost everybody. So the more we can normalize this and say, hey, while we're working on the problem, it's definitely advisable to work on this, because remember, it's not just about sex, it's about your body functioning well. All of that's very important. But while you're working on it, remember, there's so many ways to experience pleasure and intimacy. And the more we can normalize this and say like, hey, this is happening, we're working on it, how else can we bring each other pleasure? How else can we connect? How else can we be intimate? We can actually have the opportunity to create a lot of novelty and newness and passion and excitement while we're looking at getting to the root cause of all these things. So remember to not bring that anxiety, to bring that performance those performance issues to the team. If you're in partnership, bring that to your partner, talking about it openly and not with judgment, not with any of that, but more with an open heart around how can we work to solve this, while at the same time, how can we explore pleasure in new and different ways during this time while we're solving it, so we stay connected and hopefully grow closer than ever before. So I hope this has been helpful. Thanks again for joining me on my channel. Please do subscribe. It will help me reach you with new content, and I will see you real soon.